Hi folks, the news just keeps on coming. I don't know if Canon and Nikon were trolling Fuji. Fuji have their X Summit today, so we knew something was going to be coming out. And I've already got my request in a week ago to try and get one to test out for you guys. The kind of anticipated X-T5 has finally been announced. I am not one who keeps up with rumors. The only thing I had read in passing was that people were expecting the same 40 megapixel sensor from the X2H to be coming into, the XH2 to be coming into that body. But I hadn't followed the rest, so I don't know if these rumors are accurate or not, but there are a few headline things that I think will pretty much make my favorite APS-C interchangeable lens system camera a significant advancement. Now, I've been fortunate to shoot with the X-T every generation through to now, and of the APS-C cameras on the market, Fuji would be my favorite, and of the Fuji cameras in the X range, the X-T series is my favorite. Now, I prefer the ergonomics of the XH series, but I don't like the way that the button design layout has gone. I much prefer the XT series. If you're going to capitalize on it having that kind of retro feel, and there's no doubt that a lot of people who buy into the system are doing so because they like that, then stick with it. And they've been really consistent in that series. At the X Summit, they talked about their design language, and it's been the same designer over the past 8 or 9 years through to today, responsible for the entire line. So that's pretty cool. Now, what may be for me the most, it's not the most exciting, but something maybe the most cool thing about the upgrade is, stepping back a second, so often I see parallels between cars and cameras, or watches and cameras, or different things. Look at like the original Mini, and then look at how it evolved over the years to being this fat boy of a car now. Look at a RAV4 from Toyota. Started out being this tiny little two-door thing, and now it's basically the size of what a Kluger used to be. It's kind of the same with cameras. We accept this incremental things are getting bigger and bigger because they're getting more and more stuff in them. Fuji have managed to upgrade pretty much all of the major specifications. I'm going to run through about 6 of the top line ones here, but specification 1, they've actually managed to drop the weight by about 10%. The dimensions are almost precisely the same as the original X-T1, but now it's dropped back from 607 grams to 557. It's not a huge difference, 50 grams, what is that, like literally a chocolate bar? But given that a lot of the lenses are so light and small, it can make, a 5 to 10% overall weight difference on your entire kit, and that at the end of the day can make the difference. So I think that's pretty great. Now, the sensor upgrade from the X-T4. The previous sensor was a 26 megapixel sensor capable of 4K video. The new one is 40 megapixels for still and capable of 6.2K for video, if you're into video. In terms of what it was capable of, the video on the previous one was doing F-Log and 420 in 10-bit. The new one is able to do HEF for the stills, as well as F-Log 2 and 422 in 10-bit. And it's also got some new AI autofocus. Look, a lot of the brands are coming out with that now. I'm not going to get into it until I've actually had the chance to shoot with it, ideally side by side with the previous generation. Until then, AI is a nice concept, but the only execution that I've seen work well is Imagine AI, the software company, and there it's learning specifically off me, not some cloud-based system. So let's wait and see how this actually performs. In terms of stabilization, the X-T4 was already pretty great. They claimed 6.5 stops on the IBIS. To be honest, I never found it to be quite at that level, but still a solid 5 to 6. They're now claiming a 7-stop in-body image stabilization. Unfortunately, the viewfinder hasn't had much of an upgrade, and that's something that it really has room to improve. It's still a 3.69 million dot, 100 frames per second. It slightly increased the magnification from 0.75 to 0.8, but that seriously was room to be improved. The rear LCD is somewhat improved, still 3 inches, which is about all that you could cram onto that size camera, up from 1.62 million dots to 1.84. So that's something, and it's using the same MP-W235 battery, but should be squeezing out a bit more performance from it. I have to say, as I said, it's my favorite line of cameras, and those, it's a brand new sensor, so that's something. The weight savings is definitely something cool. But it's been several years since we had the X-T4. I think that really is a nice evolution. Yes, I would rather have seen a higher res EVF coming in there, but I'm sure over the next days and weeks the more information's going to trickle out. It doesn't look like they have gone on the blitz like Canon and Sony with sending out equipment to reviewers to release their tests as soon as the embargo lifts. So it's going to take a little bit longer to filter out. I'm actually heading off to Japan for a personal trip in a couple of days' time. I'm going to be taking the XH2, the 23mm, and another lens that I can't discuss with you. For that trip, I was really hoping I could take the X-T5 along, but I've been told that it's pre-production at the moment, and even the pre-production isn't available for me, at least, just yet. But stay tuned, and I will get that to you as soon as I can. Last thing before we go, I wanted to mention, if you didn't see the video I put out a day or two ago, I was sent out this tripod from Happy. It's on Kickstarter at the moment. It's a travel tripod. They're not sponsoring this video, but I think this is seriously the best value carbon travel tripod, or just travel tripod, I've ever used. It's less than half the price of what I have been using. And I actually went out and bought myself 2 of them. They're that good. So if you're in the market for a great travel tripod, well, it's actually 2 travel tripods, because this central section, which gives you a triple point central column, is also a tripod in its own right. It hasn't got too long up on Kickstarter, and you can save $100 on it off what is already much cheaper than the competition. So you can check that out. I'll pop a link to it in the description below once we have all of the links for the X-T5. Links for those will be below as well. I would love to hear your thoughts on this guy and how it stacks up against the other APS-C cameras in the market. Cheers, and I'll see you soon. Hopefully we don't have any other announcements today, because it's like almost midnight and time for me to go to bed. Cheers.